Hi everyone, Stacy from Dies to Die For. Welcome to Thursday night's card making video, although it's actually Friday night. I'm going to post this on Friday night. I just did not get to a video last night. A lot of things happened, and so I'm doing it tonight. Tonight we are going to make the Come Play in My Sandbox kind of play date card. Let me go through what dies we're going to be using first. For our slimline version, we're going to use the new Driftwood background plate. This was the new May release. For the A2, we're going to use the A2 Driftwood background plate. And this one, you'll probably see on our website if you're trying to order this one. It is out of stock right now, or maybe we have one left. I don't remember, but this one will be back in soon. So if you look on there and it's out of stock now, it'll probably be back in a week or two. So check back again. I just couldn't resist using that one, even though it was low. And then for our sandbox letters, I'm going to use our Zach's Dripping Alphabet. I like this alphabet because it looks like a fun kid kind of font, but it has these little drips on it. A lot of times I will, if I'm not doing like a birthday card where I want to make it look like it's dripping, or a Halloween card, I will just cut those off and use the font just like that. It's a good way to get more use out of your fonts. And then we're going to use the little dump truck out of the Santa's bag for our little sandbox. We're going to use the pail and the shovel out of the June words. And then this sand right here is off of our Beachcomber die set. And then, of course, the whole reason that I made this card was, my slide's coming off a little, was to show you the new slide and sandbox die that were May releases. So this is going to be the focal point of our card, hopefully. And then one on here, I used our Tank's Tiny Alphabet. This is not even released yet. This will be available on June 1st, but I needed some little letters. It was either print out the word or use our new alphabet set, and I thought, oh, it's a great opportunity to try the alphabet set out. So this will be available on June 1st though, so if you go on the site looking for it now, it's not on there now. All right, now that I got all the dies out of the way, we can concentrate on the fun stuff, the card making. So this is my A2 card base, which is 4.25 by 5.5 inches. Sorry, 5.5 that way, 4.25 that way. I cut that out in a teal color. Then I cut my Driftwood background plate out, the A2 size, in a light gray. And then I just took my gray ink and just went over it, in spots where there's like the wood grain look, I went over it really heavy with my gray to make those stand out. But I went over the whole thing. I just really concentrated on those spots. Then I cut the sand out, or the little sand bars, whatever you want to call them, out in a light brown. You can see that. And then I inked on the top with a brush. With the brown, I just touched it in spots, and then I went around the edges with the brown ink pad also. Now that we're all caught up on where I'm at and what I've already pre-done, and I just took my sandbars. This one hasn't been inked yet, so I'll ink that one if I need to. I shouldn't really need to, because I think I used 5 pieces of sand on the A2 size. You just kind of lay them out, lay them in there where you think you're going to want them. And with this, I wanted it to come up to just the top of the sandbox, if you can see my original. So I'm going to take the sandbox and use that as my guide. Make that better right there. And this spot will be covered, so you don't have to. And anything that's going to be behind the sandbox, I don't necessarily need there. So I'm going to cut that piece so that I have an extra little piece to pop on this side. That way everything that's behind the sandbox isn't wasted, because you're not going to see it anyway, right? Maybe And I usually start out by kind of laying them out and seeing, dry fitting them, I guess you would say. Seeing where I'm going to want all my pieces. Okay. Then I'm going to start with the bottom layer. And I'm only going to put glue on this very bottom edge. If my glue will cooperate. Because I want to be able to slide the other pieces behind this. And I don't know where I want to end up, so I'm going to work from the bottom up. If you know where you're going to end up, you can work from the top down and glue the whole piece. But this is the way that I work. We're doing it Stacy's way today. Put those two pieces down. Then I have my little pieces that I cut in half. I'm going to put a little glue on those. And even when you get to the very top, I'm not going to be gluing the top edge of the very top row because you're going to want to slide your letters underneath of there. Put that dot of glue up a little bit high. Just wipe it off. My video might seem a little louder, a lot of background noise today. That's because it's about 90 degrees here and I have the windows open because it is so hot in this room. I thought about closing the window for a minute, but I just don't want to. It'll be way too hot. That one I'm going to put probably about right there. And then this one's good right here, I think. Okay, actually glue those down first. And as you can see, I have a little empty space here and I'll have one on this side. I'm going to fill that in with little pieces. Okay, let's see if we got it up high enough. I think that's good. What do you think? Not quite as high as in the sample card, but I'm happy with it. All right. And I'm going to flip it over, cut these off flush, because these little pieces I'm cutting off are going to be what I'm going to fill those holes in with. There we go. Okay, now this one looks like it could work good on this side. If we can get it down in there far enough. If you want, when you get done gluing them all down, you can go back and glue all these little tabs down. I'm not really going to do that because I'm not really so concerned about it. Okay. Put that one right there. And then we need one more little piece for right there. So I'm just going to take this little guy, put it right in there. I don't think that's going to show, but yeah, it does a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to flip it back over, cut those pieces off again. And if you'll notice, this is just a card panel right now. I haven't attached it to my base piece yet. Okay. Get our sandbox in. For the sandbox, I cut one out in brown and one out in teal. And then I just cut the sand part out of the teal one and layered it on top of the brown. And I inked this brown sand in the same way that I inked this, with a brush and some brown around the edges. I think this little sandbox is my favorite piece out of all the playground dies that we did in May. Well, no, that's not true. I like the trampoline one too. The trampoline takes a little bit of work to put together, but it's a really fun die. Maybe I'll do a card with that next week. I've been slacking on doing my cards with my new dies. Well, with the May release dies, because I've been playing with our June release dies. And I have all kinds of cards and videos ready for you for the June release dies. Now, I'll show you this. I took my letters and my buckets and even this is the wood picture frame. I think I forgot to show you that die, but I used the wood picture frame. Cut that out. This is the inside of it. I inked this with the Simon Hurley, what's the yellow color I used? Slippery When Wet. This with the Crown Me, Simon Hurley purple. And all of these are inked with Simon Hurley inks. I think this is Clear Skies and this is Bee Sting. This is a new one. This is Traffic Cone. I've never used that before, but it's an orange color. Of course, I use my orange brush for my red because I don't have a red brush. So then I had to find another brush for my orange. It's just a whole mess. I never had an orange ink pad before to worry about it. Let me throw that away real quick. Okay, back to what we're doing. I inked all of my pieces. And the letters, the sandbox letters, I just picked random colors, tried to vary the colors. And then these letters you are going to take and just tuck them right down under the sand. If you don't like these little things still on it, I think they're good because they help you tuck it under the sand, but you can just cut them off like that too. The little drips. Okay. S-A-N. Where's my D? D. Have to move my D over a little bit. B-O-X. There we go. And you want to kind of angle the letters so it looks like they're moving along the sand. Now I know where that is. And then I punched out with our new Tank's Tiny Alphabet, the Come Play in My. I kind of messed up there a little bit. You can see I had to peel that end back off, but that's okay. I'm going to glue these two pieces down and then get my sandbox word glued down. Then we can add all of our little fun pieces. Oops, that got on top of that letter. That was not my intention. Okay, that looks good right there. Pop this piece in the middle. Then if I have my letters about where I want them, I'm going to go back and glue them down. Use my scissors to get that little piece out of the A. I think this Zachary's Dripping Alphabet set, a lot of people think that they can only use it for, like, well, the intent when I made this, it was a Halloween die. So it's supposed to look like blood dripping letters, so they think of it as more of a gory kind of alphabet set, but it's really easy to modify it and use it for so many other things. I do wind up using this font a lot. And we all like dies that you can get use in multiple ways, right? Okay, we're almost done with these letters. There's a lot of inking on this card, but it really is not. It doesn't take too terribly long. I'm going to trim these off because they won't fit down there. It doesn't take too terribly long to make this card. There's that. Then, what I was beginning to show you before I realized I hadn't even told you how I ink these is when I place these pieces in here, I just lift up this sand a little bit and tuck them down in there so it looks like they're laying in the sandbox or laying under the sand. Where should we put you? And I didn't put a lot of glue on the back of this so that I could pop those pieces up, but sometimes you need your scissors or like a die pick and you can lift them up easily. If that makes sense to you. Put our little red shovel in here somewhere. Should we put it over here more? Or maybe in this corner, I don't know. Let's keep it here. You can put it going this way so it fills that corner in. Okay, then I have an extra purple shovel and a pail. A red pail. I was gonna put these down here in the sand, but you could put them up here as part of the picture frame too. I would do that if this wasn't purple. I don't like that purple next to that, so I'm gonna stick with my original plan of putting these in the sand down here. But you could cut an extra one out and put it up there, or just ink it in a different color that you like next to that sand. Okay, there is your completed Come Play in My Sandbox card, the A2 size. Now let's have some fun with the slimline size. I did everything the same on this card, except it's the slimline driftwood background plate. I inked it with the gray, and then I inked my sand the same and already adhered all of that down. But on this card, because there's so much more room, I'm going to put my sandbox on this side, I think, and I've done the slide with the sandbox set. I just cut it out in silver and teal, and I cut the insides of the slide and the ladders and I cut that out. This I'm going to put over on this side somewhere. I think more like this. And then I'm using I don't have this die right here, but this is also a new June release. Let me grab it quick. This is going to be our slimline wood picture frame right here. And it comes with these the hello word, that I love you, and that says more, you and me, through it all. See, I made the words and I can't even read it backwards, but it says through it all. So you can do like, I love you through it all, or you and me through it all. That's a fun set, but that will be releasing on June 1st. Anyway, I cut the longer picture frame out in this because I wanted to fill up more space this way. I'm going to take that and glue that down first, because this one I really want to know where everything's gonna where this is going to lay so I can line everything else up or space everything else out. Was that what I should be saying? Okay, get off there, letters. You guys go away for a minute too. I'm going to line that right up at the top. About centered. Yeah. Oh, I don't want it on top of that sand though. I want it underneath of that little sandbar. And then I've already put the Come Play on there. And these letters I inked with a little bit of brown too. My glue was kind of messy on that. Okay, now let's lay our pieces back on there and see where they come to. Right there. That's perfect because I want that slide to look like it's going across that picture frame a little bit. Then, where are all of my letters? There's my S. I think I'm going to glue this down, just this bottom part, so I can get my letters lined up without this moving around. I'll wait to glue the slide a minute because I'm not sure where I'm going to want that. Okay. Start our S, A, N. Oh, I really don't like that purple wound up on that purple background, but that's the color I have in ink, so D, B, O, X. Now can everybody spell Sandbox? That completes your spelling lesson for the day. Move these over a little. There we go. All right, I really like that. That's cute. Now I still have to put in my, glue those down. I didn't know where my letters were going to end up, so I kept these off because I wanted to make them, like put them on this side of the box. I like playing with letters and doing different things, like not really like lining them up exactly, but putting some over on this side, some on this side. Just fun to me. Or using all different size fonts to spell a word. That's a lot of fun. If you're not OCD and it doesn't drive you insane, I am not, so I'm perfectly okay with it. For me, the more random and the messier, the better. Glue our letters down again. I'm really liking this card. Both of them, the A2 and this one, I think they're really cute. You know, sometimes you get an idea in your head and by the time you get it done, you're like, oh, what was I thinking? This is one of the cards that I'm actually like, oh, hey, that was a good idea. I can come up with good ideas sometimes. I'm wondering about that purple letter because it's, should I ink around it in something else to make it stand out? And if I do, what should I ink it in? Maybe the gray? Yeah, I think the gray, just to make it stand out off the the background purple just a little bit. Yeah, we'll go with that. Boy, even with me leaving that window open, it is hot in here. And I know I'm glad it's not snowing and cold, but it was just like 30 and 40 degrees last week. So it's a little bit of a shock to the system to go from it being that cold to this hot. By the middle of summer, I'll be used to it. Of course, we're in Michigan. It'll be cold by then. Our weather likes to have fun with us. All right, something like that. Do you think that's over far enough, or should I go over further because the top is over? The complet is over so far. No, I think they need to be over here more. All right, I'm going to stop thinking about it and just start gluing. We're going to go with right there. I don't know what my time's looking like, if I have time to glue these down. Let me check really quick what we're at. Oh, we're at 27 minutes. So that means my phone's gonna make me do this in a 2-part video if I don't end it now. So there you go. And then I would take these pails and put them all over like we did on the other card. And I guess you guys are just going to have to check out our Facebook page to see the 2 finished cards together. I'm going to put the dump truck over there for right now. Yep. And then this I would tuck in behind that sand. There's one card. And there's the other. All right, thank you for watching our Thursday night video, which has now become our Friday night video. We will see you again next week for our Tuesday night card making. Have a